K sexually assaults my daughter. Finds out the hard way she's been taught to take care of herself. M. So this is my second story. Little background: I am a Iraqi war vet and I believe in teaching the women and girls in my life to defend themselves with impunity. So at the very young age of 4 I have been teaching my child to defend herself. Story time. I am at work one day and I get this call from my daughter's school. I go outside to answer the phone and the convo goes like this. Cast me, Terminator P, Principal. P. Hello Terminator, I need you to come pick up baby Terminator. Me. Can I ask what this is about? P. Yes, your child has been in a fight and needs to leave the school premise. Me. What do you mean she's been in a fight? What happened? I mean she wouldn't just pick a fight. P. Well, from what we can tell, EK was running up behind her and grabbing her butt. She apparently warned him to stop and when he wouldn't, knocked him out cold. Me. So I am confused, what is happening to the boy then? P. Well, your daughter seems to be the aggressor and we need her to leave and she is gonna be suspended. Now my child at the time lived with my ex-wife and I had heard from THRX that my kid was having an issue with this boy for a while now and I knew my daughter had gone through many times telling on him to no resolve. I also knew that he had been told many times by teachers to stop and hadn't. Me. Wait, so nothing is gonna happen to the boy who has been sexually assaulting my daughter for X amount of time? P. Well, Mr. Terminator, she did strike him once and knocked him out. She needs to learn violence is not the answer. She needed to bring it up to the attention of a teacher. Me. Okay, so what I am hearing is your school is saying it's okay to sexually assault a girl and that the girl in question needs to just be a victim of assault over and over again or be punished. Is that about the gist of it? Now I hear silence as the principal mulls over what I have just said. I can tell they are trying to justify this weak tea bullshit. I compose myself. Me. So here's what's gonna happen next. You can either punish both or punish nonr of them. Because I promise you the last thing you want is me and my dress A's and TV reporters showing up and blasting your whole school over this. Now I can understand that her punching this brat is unacceptable. But what I will not take, and neither will she, is him not being punished as well. Do I make myself clear? P. Silence. Me. Also, why are you calling me and not her mother? P. Well, Mr. Terminator, she told us to call you. Me. You listen to me and listen good. I swear to you and God I will not put up with this. I demand a meeting with you, her teacher, and this boy's family. If I can't make it, my ex-wife will. If this isn't resolved to my liking, I will bring a holy hell upon this whole stick house you've built. Do you understand me? P. Yes, sir. Me. Good. Call my ex, let her know the time and date. We will coordinate from there. I hang up and call my ex. She agrees with me and I go back to work. About a work week later there is a meeting, but unfortunately I have work and my ex has to go in for me. From what I am told, this boy's family tries to play it off as, boys will be boys, and tries to get my daughter expelled. There are times when I remember why I married my ex and this is one of them. She proceeds to tell them that the last thing any of them want is me to get more involved than I already have, and that if I have to I will bring it all burning down. Every brick. Outcome was both were suspended for 4 days and the boy moved to a different class. And I never got a call like that again. Moral of the story: my kid's a badass and got a cake for sticking up for herself, and a lot of love on both ends of me and my ex. Edit. Sorry for not being clear. She was 7.5 at the time of the incident. Edit 2. For those who don't believe me, that's fine. I have nothing to prove or answer for on Reddit of all places. Believe me or not. Call me names or don't. I didn't write this for upvotes, gold, or silver. I wanted to brag about my kid doing what I thought was the right thing. Good on you both. I hate the "boys will be boys" phrase being used to justify terrible things. That's something you say when your son comes in covered in mud holding a jar of worms. That's not something you say when he's been copping a feel on an unwilling girl. Edit. Some of the comments have me concerned people missed the word "not." So I fixed that to make it more apparent. Once more, for the people in the back, this phrase should not be used to justify sexual assault. Do you mean the convicted rapist Brock Turner or some other Brock Turner who is not a convicted rapist? Because if you mean the convicted rapist Brock Turner, then I am aware of said convicted rapist. However, if you don't mean this particular Brock Turner who is a convicted rapist, then I am not sure I am familiar with a Brock Turner who is not a convicted rapist. It's hard to understand until you please clarify whether you mean Brock Turner the convicted rapist or some other Brock Turner who may or may not be a convicted rapist. The convicted rapist who got 6 months of jail time for raping an unconscious teenager behind a dumpster. When he was literally caught with his pants down. Who spent less than 3 months behind bars because his dad and the judge didn't want to ruin his life. Because he was a promising swimmer. That Brock Turner. I meant every other Brock Turner but the convicted rapist. Not the guy whose dad excused his actions publicly in court, using the "boys will be boys" excuse and claiming that his son deserved a future even though he ruined a woman's life because he raped her unconscious body behind a dumpster. Not that Brock Turner. Not the Brock Turner, convicted rapist who didn't deserve punishment for 2 minutes of action, per same dad of convicted rapist Brock Turner, who is also the father of criminal woman abuser Brock Turner and sexual offender Brock Turner. Nope, and definitely not the Brock Turner that appealed the exceedingly lenient 3-month sentence after good behavior, because his pants remained on during the sexual assault, so he was clearly only guilty of intercourse. Not the Brock Turner that made that appeal because he didn't want to have to register as a sex offender. Even though it was found that his victim was penetrated with a foreign object that no one recognized. Not that Brock Turner that was convicted of sexual assault. In fairness, by literal meaning, we can be incredibly stupid at times. There's a noticeable difference between kid that hasn't been raised right and kid that doesn't know any better and is about to learn. But in the common context of usage that's accurate. You're kinda right, but not really. There is such a thing as boys will be boys. Like a previous comment said, it applies to stuff like walking into the house covered in mud with a jar of worms. But what EK did is in no way covered by that. And at their age, they're getting to where it's no longer acceptable to use that excuse. It should be completely cut out by 5 years old, since by then, your child should have enough of an understanding of how the world works. You do know that being muddy and liking worms has nothing to do with being male, right? If it does, then I'm still waiting for my Hogwarts letter and my penis. Boys will be boys is only true in the literal sense that yes, those who are boys will actually be boys. It has absolutely zero standing in any other context whatsoever. Edit. Yeah, this probably should have been a reply to op, but oops. Tired moms will be tired moms. Don't know why you're getting downvoted. I agree with you. It's always bugged me that outdoorsy activities and getting tough and sorry tend to be seen as primarily boy things. Yup, I was the tiny terror of the household. Sneaking up on dad and hitting him to instigate roughhousing, rolling in the dirt, playing with worms or frogs and my plastic dinosaurs. My brother was much calmer and cleaner than I was. Boys will be boys should be replaced by kids will be kids. Boys will be boys is the sort of thing when they do dumb shit and you just sit there thinking, OMG, why do boys do this? Like there's a video of these guys sitting in a circle throwing a bottle into the middle to get it to stand up. Every time they successfully throw it, they all cheer and get louder and louder as more of them do it in a row. They're throwing a bottle and it's like the best thing in the world for them. That is what they mean by boys will be boys. Not, boys will sexual assault girls cause that's what they do. If they are boys then they are acting like boys, full stop. As a career nanny and former preschool teacher, I can't count the endless times grown adults have conveyed to boys who like dress up, or reading, or playing with the mini kitchen we're somehow not being boys. It's always said casually because as adults we aren't so literal and get it, but the children that hear it are very literal and often very confused or hurt by hearing it. Tomboys are still girls and not lesser to the princess-obsessed, tea party having, frilly dress wearing girls. And boys who are sensitive or want to go as a girl cartoon character for Halloween, or do anything usually labeled a girl thing, are absolutely as much boy as the rowdy, superhero-obsessed Lego lovers. Exactly. Being of a lot more than a narrow macho rough and tumble, sometimes sexually abusive tyke stereotype. A boy who is not like that is still a boy. And often a darn sight better one than some entitled little shit who happens to play football. You teach your daughter like my father did. My sister used to pick fights with my 6'4" military father. They would stand toe to toe and punch each other's shoulders until one of them called it quits. He's not abusive, my sister can take a punch, loves to fight and wrestle with dad. As we all did as kids. I can tell you if my sister gets in a fight, even if she's outnumbered, I'm joining her side. BC God help the poor soul that is on the receiving end of her fist. I once knocked a guy on his butt. I didn't actually knock him out per se, but he did fall down in front of all his friends and was quite embarrassed. I used to be a promo model in bars and had gotten sick of having my butt grabbed for the 100th time. This poor sap just happened to be the straw that broke the camel's back, and I turned and punched him in the face. He tried to whine to the bouncers, but the bar got paid a lot of money by our company to have us there, so he got kicked out instead when they heard why I did it. Ha. I was so proud of myself since I am normally a very non-confrontational person.